I thought I would come on with a job update, a job hunting update for my husband because I have updates. This past week he went on 3 interviews, and then 2 schools reached out to him. Like, they found him on Indeed and they reached out to him wanting to schedule interviews. So the 3 that he went on were charter schools and a specialty school. And he got offers for all 3. And one is in our county, like one is not in the county. One is it's in a neighboring county, so he would have to get certification, whatever would need to happen in that county. But unfortunately, they all paid vastly less than what we were getting, which is kind of mind-boggling. Charter schools do not have to follow base salary that the county does. It's just that fortunately with the previous schools that my husband has taught at that have been charter schools, they do use the county for a baseline of minimum, but these particular schools did not. One was like $15,000 less. And it might be crude to talk money, but that's just the reality of a lot of job decisions, and teacher salaries are always a topic of conversation. And why sugarcoat things? $15,000 is a lot less money, and as passionate as my husband is about teaching, unfortunately that does make the decision for us. And in the other schools, I think we're $10,000 less, and that's still a lot less, especially with how things are right now. And then unfortunately, the 2 other schools that reached out, I think they were private schools, and they paid hourly. It wouldn't necessarily be a full-time job. It would just be coming in when the classes that he would be teaching would be taught. So, if he's just teaching periods 5, 6, 7, that's when he would come in, type of thing. That's just the structure of those schools. So that would be hard to even put in conjunction with another job. And we did the whole accumulating part-time jobs thing for a year for him one time, and it's not fun. And so those 2 jobs were not going to work, even as a side hustle, because it's smack in the middle of the day, But in a turn of events, literally in between getting offers from 2 other jobs, because he got 2 offers in one day, in between, his old school called him and said, "We want you back." Schools are really playing chess right now with how to keep their teachers on, how to spread out the students who are coming back, and they are still finding out who's coming back and who's leaving, where by now the numbers would be more set in stone. They're not. But previously my husband taught middle school American history and high school drama, and when they had to let him go, they said, "We love you and you are the perfect fit here, but it's easier to have one person, like the head of the department, teach your classes now, because that's all we need is one person to teach all of these classes, where previously there were 4. And because my husband did not teach civics, which a lot of history teachers were moving into, there was nowhere to put him. And some of the other history teachers who were not going to be returning for American history were being moved into civics, or they were certified in other areas like math or science or English. So they were just getting plopped somewhere else within the school. But they called him and said, "We want you back. We have found a place for you." And as much as they were putting in good words for the sister schools of this charter school company, they were constantly actually hunting for a spot for him within the school. And he was being offered to teach high school world history, which, while he has not done that before, they have full faith in him that he could do that. He would just need to take the area test for it, because he doesn't have that under his belt in all of his certification tests. He doesn't have that specific one, which is fine right now. So he would teach world history and one drama class. Enough students signed up for his drama theater class that they were able to offer one class. So they said, you want to come back? And that was a lot, especially between all the other job offers. And my husband called me and he's like, there's so much going on. And it was just the verbal vomit of everything going on between all the jobs, and then the inquiries of, do you want to come interview? And ultimately my husband just loved where he taught, and it was heartbreaking on both sides to let him go. And he accepted the world history position and continuing with the theater department and the drama club, because they had discussed putting on a show this coming year. So all of that can be back on the table. So he's back at his school, just teaching something different. And they were so thrilled that he accepted, and he's quite thrilled to be going back, because like I said, this was the first school he thoroughly enjoyed teaching at. He did not dread Sundays. He did not dread holiday breaks ending. And even if he had troublesome students, he knew the admin had his back and things like that, and he never experienced that before. So that's the story. And it's been a whirlwind 2 weeks since the layoff to now. And I think schools are just scrambling, not knowing what they're doing with these massive unenrollment numbers. And yeah, and I told my husband, I'm like, I'm so sorry that I'm not jumping up and down. It's just a lot to take in. The layoff was a lot to take in, and the going back was a lot to take in, and all the job, like, I don't want to say all the job offers, like that just sounds so conceited, but 3 job offers and 2 people interested in him from looking at his Indeed profile. It was overwhelming in such a positive way, and I know it made him feel so good to be so, wanted. But it's been a whirlwind 2 weeks, and I honestly don't wish this on anybody, because we didn't know if we were coming or going, and it still feels surreal, everything, because it's like, oh, you're going back. We just keep on keeping on. It's an odd feeling, but I'm grateful nonetheless. I wish we weren't put through this turmoil for 2 weeks, and it could have just been, hey, American history is kind of wishy-washy, but we got something else for you. We're trying to think up. I do wish it was that instead, but ultimately I'm glad that they found a way to essentially keep him, because nothing was ever formally resigned, and officially no contract was actually not renewed, because the contracts are still going on even though school's out. It's just how the contract goes. But anyway, that's the story. So thank you for all the positivity, because everybody was always going and responding with such positivity and well wishes, and I'm just really grateful for that. And I'm really happy that he gets to continue teaching, because ultimately this is, as much as I wish for like a more a career that he can grow more in financially, ultimately this is just his calling. And that's that. Okay. I hope y'all are doing okay, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.